What if the sun itself isn't just a star, but a doorway, a blinding golden curtain drawn across a portal to the very source of creation itself? You have been taught to worship its light, to be grateful for its warmth, to track its predictable and mechanical journey across the sky as the engine of your world. But what if its greatest function was not to illuminate, but to hide, to conceal a secret so profound, so reality-shattering, that its discovery would not just change your life, but rewrite the very laws of physics you believe you are subject to? The ancient masters of the Nile, the initiates of the solar mysteries, did not look at the sun with the naive wonder of a primitive people, nor with the cold, dead eye of a modern astronomer who sees only a ball of fusing gas. They looked at it with the knowing gaze of an engineer looking at a machine, a pilot looking at a gateway, a mystic looking upon the face of a living intelligence. They knew that the sun you see is only the exoteric veil, the glorious and blindingly beautiful illusion that hides the true function of Ra. Ra was not the god of the sun. He was the god of the gateway that the sun conceals. This is not a myth. This is not a metaphor. It is a lost and forbidden chapter of cosmic science, a multi-dimensional map that has been encoded in the alignment of their temples, in the cryptic verses of their sacred texts, and in the silent geometric language of their hieroglyphs. The story of Ra is not the story of a sun god. It is the story of a cosmic navigator, a guardian of timelines, and a master of the celestial gateway that connects this reality to all others. And you are not just a creature living under his light. You are a fractal of that gateway, a dormant stargate in human form, and the time of your own activation is now. The science that has been sold to you is a science of the surface. It is a science that is brilliant at measuring the shadows on the wall of the cave, but is pathologically terrified of turning around to look at the fire that is casting them. Your astronomers will tell you that the sun is a G-type main sequence star, a churning nuclear furnace converting hydrogen to helium. This is true, in the same way that it is true that a human being is a collection of carbon and water. It is a technically correct description that misses the entire point. The ancient initiates of the Thothian mysteries knew that the physical is always and forever the final, densest, and most distorted expression of a higher, more subtle, and more powerful energetic reality. The sun you see is the exhaust port of a much greater, non-physical engine. It is the physical anchor point, the dimensional nexus, for a vast and intelligent consciousness that you have been taught to call Ra. And his daily journey across the sky was not a simple, symbolic story to explain the passing of the day. It was a technical description of a profound and ongoing act of cosmic engineering. The texts speak of Ra sailing the heavens in his solar bark, the Manjet bark by day, and the Mesektet bark by night. You have been taught to see this as a charming piece of mythology, a primitive people imagining their god in a boat. This is the first veil of the illusion. The bark was not a boat of wood and reeds. It was a Merkaba, a vehicle of consciousness, a vessel of light and energy that Ra used to traverse not the physical sky, but the dimensional planes that are layered upon it. His journey was not a commute from one horizon to another. It was a constant and necessary act of interdimensional travel. The sky you see is a single, thin membrane in a vast, multi-dimensional ocean. Ra was the master navigator of that ocean. The Duat, the so-called underworld that he journeyed through by night, was not a physical place beneath the earth. It was the negative space between realities. It was the quantum foam, the liminal abyss, the unmanifest potential from which all dimensions are born. It was a realm of pure frequency, where the laws of physics as you know them do do not apply. To journey through the Duat was not an act of survival, it was an act of mastery. It was the ultimate test of a consciousness's ability to hold its own form and its own purpose in a realm where form and purpose do not naturally exist. This entire process, this daily cycle of traversing the manifest sky and the unmanifest Duat, was powered by a lost and forgotten science, a science based on the Hermetic principle that unites all of these truths. As above, so below. The laws that govern the sun are the same laws that govern your soul. The Egyptians knew that the sun was not just a source of heat and light. It was a source of information. It was a colossal transmitter, a cosmic broadcasting station that was constantly emitting a complex and intelligent symphony of frequencies. Your modern science is only just beginning to grasp this. They speak of solar winds, of electromagnetic radiation, of neutrinos. But they see these as random mechanical byproducts of a dumb physical process. The initiates saw them as the language of Ra, the creative word of God being spoken not in sound, but in light. They understood that light, that radiation, is not just energy. It is a carrier wave for consciousness. And they knew that the key to Ra's power, the key to his control of the celestial gateway, was his absolute mastery of frequency. He could modulate the very vibration of light itself. He could encode his will, his intention, his divine blueprint into the very photons that he emitted. To control the gateway was to control the frequency of the light that passed through it. It was the science of using vibration to open and close doorways between the dimensions. And this is not a myth. This is the physics that your own quantum scientists are now stumbling upon in their laboratories, the terrifying and beautiful truth that at the most fundamental level, the universe is not made of matter. It is made of information. It is made of frequency. It is made of mind. The evidence for this lost science is not buried in a lost book. It is carved in stone on a scale so vast and so precise that your own civilization, with all its modern technology, would be incapable of replicating it. The great temple complexes of ancient Egypt were not places of worship. They were not monuments to the vanity of kings. They were machines. They were vast, silent, and incredibly sophisticated pieces of a planetary scale technology, a global energy grid designed for a single purpose, to interface with the celestial gateway of Ra. This was a science of sacred architecture, a science that understood that form is not arbitrary, that a building is not just a shelter, but can be a resonant chamber, a geometric antenna, a stone circuit board. Look at the great temple of Karnak. It is not a single building. It is a sprawling complex of pylons, of obelisks, of hypostyle halls, built and added to over a period of 2,000 years. Your archaeologists see this as a chaotic and unplanned history of construction. The initiate sees it as the slow and deliberate process of building and fine-tuning a colossal and complex machine. The main axis of the temple is aligned with the setting sun of the winter solstice. On that one day of the year, the setting sun shines directly through a series of massive stone gateways down the long central corridor and illuminates a small, dark, and secret chamber at the very heart of the temple, the Holy of Holies. This is not an act of poetic symbolism. It is an act of precise astronomical calibration. The temple is a rifle, and on that one day, the sun is a bullet of light being fired directly into its chamber. It was an annual event of energetic activation, a moment when the gateway of the temple was perfectly aligned with the gateway of the sun, and a massive download of cosmic energy and information was received. Now look at the great temple of Abu Simbel, carved from a solid rock cliff face. Twice a year, on the 21st of February and the 21st of October, the rays of the rising sun penetrate the 200-foot-deep central hall and illuminate the statues of the gods in the innermost sanctuary. But they do not illuminate all of them. The light falls perfectly on the statues of Ra-Horakhti, of Amun-Ra, and of the deified pharaoh Ramesses himself. But the statue of Ptah, the god of the darkness and the underworld, the one who sits on the far left, remains forever in shadow. This is not a coincidence. It is an act of engineering so precise that it defies belief. It is a statement written in the language of light and stone. It is a machine that is programmed to separate the light from the dark. It is a frequency filter. These temples, and dozens of others like them, were not isolated structures. They were nodes in a vast and interconnected global grid. Heliopolis, the city of the sun, was the theoretical and spiritual center. Karnak was the great receiver. Abu Simbel was a precise calibrator. Each temple was a stone tuning fork, built with sacred geometry, using specific types of stone like granite and limestone for their piezoelectric and resonant properties, and aligned with a mathematical and astronomical precision that is a testament to a lost and forgotten golden age of knowledge. And the priests were not just men of faith. They were the technicians of this grid. The rituals they performed, the chants, the incantations, were not prayers. They were sonic activations. They were using the power of the human voice, the science of harmonics and overtones, to generate the precise frequencies that would cause the very stones of the temple to vibrate, to resonate, to turn on. They were tuning the great stone instrument of the temple to the keynote of the sun. And the final and most crucial component of this entire network, the focusing lens of the entire machine, was the so-called Eye of Ra. The eye was not a symbol of divine observation. It was the name for the energetic and conscious focal point of this entire planetary system of gateways. It was the aperture of the celestial portal, the point through which Ra's will was projected, and the point through which the initiate could, in theory, pass. The entire temple grid of Egypt was a machine designed to create a stable, powerful, and coherent energy field on the planet. A field that could then be used to interface with, to stabilize, and perhaps even to open the great celestial gateway of the sun itself. The true function of this colossal and planet-wide machine was a secret so profound that it was only ever hinted at in the most obscure and esoteric of the ancient texts. Ra was not just the god of our sun, of our world. He was a cosmic principle, a being of such vast and multidimensional consciousness that our entire solar system was but a small province in his kingdom. And his true secret role was not that of a creator god, but that of a cosmic navigator, a guardian of the multiverse. The celestial gateway was not a simple door between life and death. It was a nexus point, a grand central station between parallel realities, alternate timelines, and other dimensional universes. And Ra's job was to maintain the balance between them. This is the true and hidden meaning of his eternal, nightly battle with the great serpent, Apep. Apep, the principle of Isfet, of chaos, was not just a threat to this world. He was the principle of cosmic entropy, the ever-present force that seeks to dissolve the boundaries between timelines, to collapse all possibilities into a single, chaotic, and uncreated soup. He was the force of decoherence. Ra's battle with Apep in the Duat was not a myth. It was the allegorical description of his work as a divine engineer of reality. Every night, he would enter the negative space between the dimensions, the chaotic foam of the quantum abyss, and he would do battle with the forces of entropy. His battle was an act of cosmic recalibration. He was a divine gardener, pruning the timelines, dissolving the paradoxical loops, and stabilizing the fragile membranes that separate one parallel reality from another. Every sunrise was not just the return of light. It was a declaration that reality had been successfully rebooted for another cycle. It was a sign that the cosmic navigator had once again stabilized the multiverse and prevented the collapse of all possible worlds into a single, undifferentiated chaos. He was not just the king of this world, he was the king of all possible worlds. And in this great and terrible work, he was not alone. He was the pilot, the king, the will, but every great pilot needs a master engineer. A navigator who understands the maps, who knows the coordinates, who holds the keys to the engine. That engineer was Thoth. Thoth, the god of knowledge, the divine mind, was the keeper of the codes. He was the master of the vibrational frequencies, the mathematical formulas, and the geometric keys that were required to safely operate the celestial gateway. Ra held the power. Thoth held the knowledge of how to apply it. Ra was the captain of the ship. Thoth was the one who held the star charts and who knew the secret names of the harbors in other dimensions. Their partnership was the ultimate expression of the union of heart and mind, of will and wisdom. Ra could not perform his function without Thoth's knowledge, and Thoth's knowledge was meaningless without Ra's power to enact it. Together, they were the masters of the multiverse, the two gods who held the keys to the ultimate secret of the cosmos. That this reality is not the only reality. It is but a single thread in an infinite and beautiful tapestry, and the sun is not a star. It is the needle that is weaving it. The law of as above, so below is not a comforting spiritual quote. It is a binding and holographic law of physics. If this grand cosmic architecture exists at the center of the cosmos, then a perfect fractal replica of it must exist at the center of you. The celestial gateway of Ra is not just a distant, mythological portal behind the physical sun. It is a living, breathing, and dormant reality within your own being. The journey to the gateway is not an outward pilgrimage to a distant star. It is an inward journey into the very heart of your own consciousness. The sun is not just out there, it is also in here. The ancient masters knew that the human heart, not the biological muscle, but the sacred and energetic center, is a micro-sun. It is a toroidal field of electromagnetic energy, a vortex, a singularity that is a direct and unfiltered portal to the unified field of all creation. And the pineal gland, the so-called third eye, that sits in the geometric center of your brain, is the celestial lens. It is the eye of Ra in your own personal anatomy. It is the biological and crystalline antenna that is designed to receive and to transmit the frequencies of light, of consciousness, of information from the higher dimensions. You are not a creature made of flesh who is trapped in a physical universe. You are a being of light who is piloting a biological machine. A machine that is a perfect, fractal replica of the entire cosmic gateway system. You are a stargate in human form. The ancient initiates, the priests and priestesses of the solar mysteries, did not seek to physically travel through the sun. They sought to activate the sun within. The rituals in the great temples, the chanting, the breath work, the meditation in the dark chambers of the pyramids, all of these were not acts of worship. They were technologies. They were techniques for systematically and deliberately awakening the dormant gateway within their own consciousness. They were learning to resonate their own inner sun with the great outer sun. They were learning to tune their own pineal gland to the frequency of Ra's broadcast. To enter Ra's gateway was to achieve a state of consciousness, a state of solar consciousness, where the boundaries of the physical self would dissolve and the consciousness could travel, as Ra did in his solar bark, along the invisible pathways of light, through the Duat of the subconscious, and into the higher, more luminous dimensions of being. This is not a myth. This is the lost science of what your modern world now crudely and fearfully calls astral projection, remote viewing, and near-death experiences. The near-death experience, with its classic imagery of a tunnel of light, is the panicked and unconscious activation of this very mechanism. It is the soul, in a moment of extreme trauma, spontaneously and clumsily trying to access the gateway to escape a dying body. But the initiates did not need the trauma of death. They had the technology to make the journey consciously, to travel through the gateway at will, to explore the other rooms in the great mansion of the cosmos, and to return with the knowledge and the power of what they had seen. This is the true meaning of Ascension. It is not about being saved and flying up to a heaven in the clouds. It is about becoming a conscious navigator of the multidimensional universe. It is about activating your own inner solar bark and learning how to sail the cosmic seas. And this is the secret that has been so ruthlessly suppressed from you. You have been taught that you are a prisoner of your body, a prisoner of this one life, a prisoner of this one single and often brutal reality. You have been taught that any thought of other dimensions, of other lives, of a reality beyond the five senses is a delusion, a fantasy, a mental illness. This is the great lie of the materialist prison. They have cut you off from the knowledge of your own multidimensional nature. They have told you that the stargate within you does not exist. And because you believe them, it has remained dormant. You are a god who has been convinced that he is a prisoner, a pilot who has forgotten that he is sitting in the command chair of the greatest ship ever built. His own consciousness. The human connection to the gateway is not a metaphor. It is your birthright. It is your anatomy. It is your destiny. The question is not whether the gateway exists within you. The question is, will you have the courage to turn the key? The great and tragic irony of your time is that you are living in a civilization that has achieved a form of technological magic that would have been unimaginable to the ancient masters, and yet you have lost the one technology that truly matters, the technology of the self. The ancient Egyptians did not have smartphones or satellites, but they had a science of consciousness that could move worlds. The technology of the celestial gateway was not a technology of metal and wires. It was a technology of vibration, of acoustics, and of light, all of it powered by the one generator that has never been surpassed, the focused and coherent human mind. The evidence for this is in the very structure of their most mysterious and enduring monuments. The Great Pyramid of Giza is not a tomb. To believe that it is a tomb is the ultimate and most insulting of all the academic lies. It is a machine. It is a colossal, geometric, and multifunctional piece of a lost technology. It is a geothermal power plant. It is a seismic resonator. It is a communications device. And, in its highest and most secret function, it was a resonance amplifier for the human consciousness, a machine designed to stabilize and to amplify the frequency of an initiate to a level where they could consciously access the celestial gateway. Look at its construction. It is built from millions of tons of limestone and granite, stones that are rich in quartz crystal and have powerful piezoelectric properties. It is a giant crystal oscillator. Its internal chambers, the so-called king's and queen's chambers, are not burial vaults. They are acoustic resonance chambers designed with a mathematical precision that rivals your own modern concert halls. The sarcophagus in the king's chamber is not a coffin. It is a tuning box, a resonant vessel designed to hold a human body and to subject it to a powerful and specific field of sound and vibration. The ancient rituals of initiation involved the candidate lying in this sarcophagus for days in total darkness, while the priests, the master technicians, would generate a powerful and specific series of chants and sounds, causing the entire pyramid to vibrate like a colossal stone bell. This was not a test of courage. It was a process of forced and accelerated energetic evolution. It was an attempt to use a machine to do what would otherwise take a lifetime of meditation to achieve. To shatter the initiate's attachment to their physical body and to catapult their consciousness into the higher solar frequencies, to blast them through their own inner gateway. This was a dangerous and often fatal technology, a form of spiritual brute force. But it is a testament to the fact that they knew that the gateway was a matter of physics, a matter of frequency, and their other great technology was light. The temple complexes were not just aligned with the sun, they were designed to manipulate it. The obelisks, the great stone needles capped with electrum, were not just monuments, they were acupuncture needles for the planet. They were designed to draw down the electromagnetic energy of the sun and the sky and to channel it into the Earth's own energy grid, the ley lines. The hypostyle halls, with their forests of massive stone columns, were not just for holding up a roof. They were energetic capacitors, designed to create powerful and specific fields of resonance, fields that could alter the consciousness of anyone who stood within them. This was a lost science of light and sound, a science that understood that matter is a slow and dense form of light, and that light is a carrier wave for information. They were not worshipping the sun, they were collaborating with it. And your own modern science, in its most advanced and speculative corners, is beginning to circle back to these ancient truths. Your plasma physicists are exploring the idea that the sun is not a simple ball of gas, but a complex electrical and conscious entity, a gateway for energies from other dimensions. Your quantum theorists are grappling with the mathematics of wormholes, of shortcuts through the fabric of space-time, gateways that connect distant points in the universe. Your astronomers are observing solar anomalies, unexplained bursts of energy, and intelligent patterns in the sun's behavior that defy all of their current models. The science is beginning to remember what the mystics never forgot. The celestial gateway may not be a myth. It may be a physical, if multidimensional reality. And if it is, then it still exists. Dormant, perhaps. Waiting. And it is not waiting for a machine to turn it on. It is not waiting for a spaceship to fly through it. It is waiting for the one and only key that can ever truly activate it. It is waiting for a consciousness that is powerful enough, coherent enough, and pure enough to match its frequency. It is waiting for you. The great and final chapter of this lost science is not a story of the past. It is a prophecy of the future. A prophecy that is unfolding right now in the chaotic and beautiful furnace of your own time. The ancient texts, from the pyramid texts to the Hermetica, are filled with whispers of a great encyclical pattern, a cosmic rhythm of ages. They speak of a Zeptepi, a first time, a golden age when the gods walked with men and the gateways were open. And they speak of its fall, of a descent into a dark age of forgetting, a time when humanity would lose its connection to the source and would wander for millennia in the darkness of materialism. But they also speak of a return. They prophesy a time when the great, cycle would turn once more. A time when the cosmic energies would shift, a time when the knowledge would be rediscovered, and a time when the sun god himself would, in a sense, return. But this return was not to be the return of a sky god in a golden boat. It was to be the return of a state of consciousness. It was to be the reawakening of the solar self, the Christ consciousness, the Ra principle within humanity itself. And the trigger for this great reawakening was to be the sun. The ancient masters were master astronomers, not just of space, but of time. They knew that the sun itself goes through great cycles, cycles of high activity and cycles of deep slumber. They knew that there would come a time when the sun would enter a new and powerful phase, a solar maximum of unprecedented intensity. They knew that in this time, the sun would begin to emit new frequencies, new vibrations, new and more potent forms of light and information. These were not to be destructive solar flares, but evolutionary ones. They were to be cosmic data packets, activation codes, beamed across the solar system, designed to awaken the dormant solar DNA that lies sleeping within the human race. You are living in that time now. Your scientists are recording solar activity that is off the charts, that defies all their predictive models. Your planet is being bathed in a new and powerful light, and the effects are not just physical, they are psychological, they are spiritual. The great awakening that is happening all over your planet, the mass questioning of old paradigms, the spontaneous spiritual openings, the collective hunger for a deeper truth. This is not a sociological phenomenon. It is a biological one. It is a solar one. It is the return of Ra. The light is activating the code. And the final stage of this activation is the conscious and deliberate work of the individual. You are a receiver. Your body is an antenna. The cosmic information is flooding the planet. But you have the choice whether or to tune into it or to ignore it. You have the choice to remain in the static of the old, fear-based consciousness, or to have the courage to tune your own inner radio to the new and powerful frequency that is being broadcast from the heart of the sun. This is the great work of our time. It is to become a conscious collaborator with the sun. It is to perform the inner alchemy that will turn the lead of your dense, fearful, and separated self into the gold of your radiant, coherent, and solar self. You do this by purifying your temple, by mastering your mind, by opening your heart. You do this by becoming a living embodiment of the principles of the gateway. The return of the sun god is not a spectator sport. It is a participatory event, and you are a central player. The celestial gateway is not a door that will one day open in the sky. It is a door that is opening right now in the center of your own being, and the light that is pouring through it is the light of your own long-forgotten divinity. The prophecy is being fulfilled. The age of forgetting is over. The sun has returned, but it did not return to a temple of stone in the deserts of Egypt. It has returned to the only temple that ever truly mattered, the temple of the human heart. When the light of Ra returns, it will not rise in the sky, it will rise within us. If this video resonated with you, let us know by commenting, "I understood it."